for finally understanding the geography of Uganda. It seems before they didn't know the geography well. However, it seems now you have come to understand that 20% of Uganda is underwater. 20% is like 1/5 of Uganda is underwater. This lake is very big, Lake Victoria, and the other lakes are quite big. And the Ugandans live in those islands or in areas separated by water. It was therefore a serious gap not to have an emergency effort on water. So I congratulate you. However, the Honorable Dr. Ayume made a very good speech. He was part of my health group before he deserted to become a member of parliament. He pointed out what I have pointed out many times. Why doesn't the Minister of Health emphasize prevention rather than cure? Because as he pointed out, all those ambulance needs are preventable. So the Prime Minister is not here, but my staff are here. They should tell the Prime Minister and remind me that this road carnage must stop. We can't go on doing stupid things. People kill themselves, then we lift them, then in kama mambo ya ujinga. Why do you drive recklessly? Why? So all those policies, including forcing car owners to put speed governors in their vehicles at their own cost, all those should be exhausted, all that line of ensuring that people drive carefully and they don't kill themselves and in the process give us all this big burden of having to waste resources to look after people who are careless with their lives. And then, as a number of people pointed out, lifestyle diseases. Here, the Minister of Health should really educate these Ugandans, educate all of us. Because even some of us who are very health conscious, you find we don't know. Like, for instance, when this corona started, because me, I don't have budget for sickness. To have days when I am sick and the legs are up in the hospital, I don't have that budget. I have been active for the last 60 years, almost continuously. I think I have only been down with malaria, actually, only 2 times in these 60 years. Because I've got work to do, and I can't do it when I'm sick. I've got a mission to do. But when this corona started, I was watching, I think it was BBC, and then I saw, they were wondering why many people are dying in Europe from corona. And one of the doctors pointed at vitamin D, that because in Europe there's not enough sunshine and people are indoors, they don't get enough sun, they don't have enough vitamin D. And apparently vitamin D is very crucial for the immunity. So out of curiosity, I called my people, you come and check my vitamin D. It was down. I had very low vitamin D. There's another one called vitamin B12 or something like that. And all those are part of the barracks to fight the enemy. And yet mine were down, not because I didn't have the capacity to have them, but because I didn't know. And I no longer go to the sun. I go from the house to the car. I no longer expose myself to the sun. I'm like the ones in Europe who have no sun. So I had to sort that one out. And so now you wonder, why wouldn't our medical people identify all these things that one needs to do and tell us like, every 2 weeks, go on the radio, this DHO. Do you know somebody called DHO? Have you heard of him? He's called a district health officer. So why doesn't this DHO tell us? Every 2 weeks, you just go and tell you people, in order to do this, you do this. People will just do it at their own cost. Now, like this, eating too much, then people get fat, and then the arteries get clogged. Then they die, they collapse, then the ambulance. All this can be prevented. Tell us how we should eat. What is the best way to eat and when? Alcohol does a lot of damage also to people. So as we talk about the ambulance service, you have heard, Ayume has made a very good case that you may have the ambulances, but you may not manage the cost. Because 200 liters of fuel from here to Karanga and back, or is it only going? Huh? Is it only going or coming also? Two ways. Or quarry. 200 liters is going and coming or only going?
Your Excellency, it's for two-way, going and coming back.
Now, if I had 200 liters and I wanted to go where Okwari is coming from, Okwari is suspected to be coming from either Tororo or
Your Excellency, I come from Tororo district.
No, you see, I have got the suspect. So now, Okwari, if I am in a car with 200 liters, how many trips should I make to Tororo and back? To go to Tororo, what do you need? How many liters?
Your Excellency, for me to go from here to Tororo and back, I just need 55 liters.
So this is now 4 Tororos from Kampala, just for going to Karanga here and back. So that's for, sit down, Okwari. Or you need to stand up so that you are fit. So now you see, this is where the health economics come in. It is clear that, especially for this water thing, it may not be sustainable to allow the Basese to live carelessly and hope that they will be rescued by the boats, because the cost is maybe too much. And we may find that we don't manage in a very short time. So that's why you need to look at the other economic answers. For instance, as Ayume was saying, this health center 4, why can't these women be managed there? What are they coming to do in Kampala? Why don't we strengthen that? And for Sese, when I went there, only that this time they elected people. I went there and we have the health center 3 per sub-county. But because of the islands, we may find we need to modify and maybe put a health center 3 on some of the islands, even if they are not sub-counties, because of the distance. Somebody needs to do the mathematics there. Fortunately, the population of Garanga is not very big, and even the islands, but still, you should really look at the economics of health. Do things cheaply so that you can do it sustainably. Because if it is very expensive, you may end up with white elephants. You have the boats, but they don't have the fuel. It's too much. Now, finally, that wastage, the chairman of the districts, the RDCs, those boats, the 11 which were bought earlier, and the engines were stolen. Who was looking after them? Who was looking after these boats? It must be the people in the district. These which were stolen, which district were they stolen from? The engines. Atwine.
Your Excellency, the affected districts, some of them are these ones where we are sending the boats. But I remember, I don't have off-head every district, but I know that Namayingo was one of them. And I remember we discovered that boat hidden in Mayuge somewhere with no engine. But also we know that there were also other districts. I will need to get the list. But I know that 8 boats right now, they are packed with no engines. They are not functional because all engines were stolen. But I can cross-check. I didn't want to give you inaccurate information.
So, Chairman, what do we do now? Chairman, can one of you come and tell us what we do with the... Okay, the UPDF is coming in and so on, but... Stolen. That is very, very serious. So please, this time, secure the engine. You have got policemen, you have got what? I don't want to hear that type of thing. Now, finally, I'm glad that you linked up with UPDF, because in Uganda, there is no clear driving and mechanical schools for boats. In the past, we were sharing the railway East African railway schools in Mombasa, I think, and Dar es Salaam, when we had the East African railways. That's where people used to go and train to drive boats, maintain them, repair them. But when the East African Railway, East African community collapsed, Uganda remained without. Now, the other time, when I was launching the ferry from Rwampanga to Namasare, Amoratal, I asked these people who were operating the ferry, who trained you? These were Katwe boys from Katwe, and they had been quickly trained by the supplier of the ferry. That's not a good way. So that's why, when I came back, I insisted that one of the universities must teach marine engineering and services. And I gave that task to Busoga University, because they have got a campus at Namasagari, near the River Nile. They can easily set up that capacity. So it's very dangerous to have these water systems without people who know how to operate on water. As drivers of boats, I don't know what they call them. I don't know whether boat people are called drivers. As navigators, as technicians, as engineers, that gap must be solved. So I'm glad you have teamed up with the UPDF, because UPDF has got a school for Marines in Butiaba, on Lake Albert. They can help you in the meantime. But the government, the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Transport should really follow up the setting up of Marines Department at the university, which is near the water. And me, I had identified Namasagari. So that when we are on water, we are in capable hands. When I was looking at those people at Namasari, Amoratar, I was wondering, these Katwe people, because they were there fighting with the weeds, that the weed had stopped them. These weeds which are floating in the water. So it's good you improvised, but I hear there's somebody from Ministry of Transport. Please, who is here for transport? Anyariwo? Transport, who is there? Doesn't matter, my staff will follow it up with transport and with education, because I want to have a dedicated training center for marine transport. Marine transport needs specialized people. So I congratulate everybody, and I wish you good luck. I have already commissioned the operation. I wish you good luck.